Hi guys, Manuel here from RG Nordic. I'm here today with one of the first samples we got of the ROG Zephyrus gaming notebook. And what is so cool with this machine is that it features a GTX 1080 graphics card in a machine that's only 18mm thick, as well as weighs slightly over 2.1 kilos. And the reason we've been able to do this is that we included NVIDIA's Max-Q technology GPU in this. So I'm gonna do a short unboxing video to give you guys a little bit of a closer look. So, the first thing we'll see when we open up the box is, of course, the notebook itself. And the first thing that comes to mind for most of you is probably that we have changed the design a little bit. It's not the typical kind of RG design. The lid is made in metal, it's black, and we also moved the RG logo to the side, which is also lit up, which is a nice touch. And I think the other thing, the second thing that comes to mind is that it's actually really, really thin. To think about it, that this is a GX 1080 notebook, is really, really cool. This could easily be something that you take with you on the bus or train or anything like that. And the design also feels really good. It's really sturdy in its design, which is good. Looking on the side, we got one vent here on the side. We got power supply, HDMI, two USB 3.1 ports, as well as audio 55mm. Looking at the other side, we got two additional USB ports, as well as one 3.1C. Also, there's features like Kensington lock here in the back. On the back, we got two additional vents. We got the Zephyrus logo, and it's colored in the plasma copper design. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a closer look on the machine itself and open it up. And the biggest change here that you will notice is, of course, that we have moved the keyboard, actually moved it from the top and moved it down to the bottom. And one of the reasons is, of course, that we want to be able to have more of the thermal solution here on the top. More fans and stuff like that. But also, if you come to think about it, it's actually a more natural way to use your keyboard to have it on the bottom. It's more equivalent or more similar to the experience you get from using the normal kind of keyboard. The touchpad has been moved to the side here to save space as well, and it also can be a numpad once you hit one of the buttons here. So it can feature as a numpad as well. The monitor we're using is a 1080p IPS panel that features 120 Hz as well. So it's a good gaming monitor for most people. So I'm gonna have a little bit closer look later as well on the machine, but first I'm gonna show you a little bit on what you can expect to find in the box. So let's see here. Here we have a screwdriver, a little bit unusual in a notebook. We do have adapter, it's USB to Ethernet. And what can we find here? We got a box with some warranty cards, as well as some RG stickers. Right? Of course, we do have the power supply, standard issue. And oh, I do like this. We also do include palm wrist, so it gives you a little bit of a better angle when you use the notebook, which is good. It's also included. And last but not least, here's another secret box just saying RG. And what you can find in here is actually the ROG Strix Impact gaming mouse, which is very popular among FPS gamers. Also a nice thing to get included. So let's see a little bit more closely on the computer itself. So one of the unique features and one of the reasons why we've been able to make this as thin as it is that we have a unique kind of a cooling system here. So what you can see is once we open up the lid, the bottom actually elevates and opens up. So there's a bit of a space here that you can use to get more heat out of the machine. And the result with this is both that you get a little bit of a better angle when using the laptop, and also that the noise level is actually a lot better than some of the GTX 1080 notebooks that are twice as thick than this one, which is really impressive. The keyboard here feels actually really sturdy, really good, the response feels good. And also it's a RGB keyboard, you can choose the different kind of colors and sounds that you want. So I think the next step that we're going to do is to have a little bit of a look on the performance and try some gaming on this one. So the first thing I want to try here really bad is to see some benchmarks, and it's really interesting to see how it compares to a machine that hosts GTX 1082 with the normal version, and it's also a lot thicker than this machine. So let's see here, I installed 3D Mark and I'm gonna have a run at it. Okay, so we got Firestrike running. This is one of the quite early stages of the test, but so far I'm trying to listen to the noise from the fans, and my idea was that I expected this to be very loud because 1080 in a machine like this, it's sort of bound to make a lot of noise, and that would still be understandable and acceptable. But to be honest, so far I'm not hearing much noise at all. You can hear that the fans are starting up, but it's actually a lot less than the comparison to the full-scale 1080 models we've seen so far. Right, so our benchmarks are finally done in Firestrike. We got a score of 14,400 and 18,650 in graphics score. If we compare the Zephyrus to our previous ROG machine with 1080, the ROG 701, that scores around 22,000. So the actual score for this machine is around 80-85%, somewhere in that area, of the full-scale 1080 machine G701. But taking in consideration that this one is not even half the size, and actually the noise level is a lot better, this score for us is actually really impressive. So the next thing we're gonna try is do some casual gaming and trying out to play some Battlefield 1 to get a little sense on how it works. Right, so I installed Battlefield 1 on this machine now, and I'm running in campaign mode with high settings. And the reason why I put it to high settings was that this is using a 120 Hz panel, and it's really interesting to see how many frames per second it can generate. It's quite hard to see here, but I do have a FPS meter on the top right, and impressively enough, it actually generates a steady flow of 120 frames per second at all times, and that gives you a really smooth experience when playing. The IPS panel gives you really good color reproduction as well, so it looks absolutely beautiful. Another thing that I'm quite picky about is to see how what kind of a feedback you get from each key on the keyboard, and especially with thin notebooks that can be a problem, but actually everything here feels good for each key that you press. Noise level is going up a little bit now when we are running as many frames per second, but still definitely under acceptable levels. So the ROG Zephyrus will be available in the Nordic market around July and come to a price of around 35,000 SEK. So that will be all for now for the ROG Zephyrus, and thank you guys for watching.